government institutions urged to construct friendly infrastructure for people with disabilities. And in sports, Yanga Sports Club confident of excelling in Africa football in the next 2 years. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's get started with the national news. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. John Magufuli, has cancelled independence celebration which were expected to be held on 9th December this year, and instead has directed funds allocated for the celebration to be used for purchasing various medical facilities for Uhuru Hospital. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa made the statement in Dar es Salaam at the commemoration of the 6th anniversary of the Association of Tanzania Employers.
Mwaka huu Mheshimiwa Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
This year, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, has instructed that this year's celebration should be spent by doing various communal and economic activities. In the government, money is set aside for this, but Honorable President had also in the past instructed that money was to be spent to build a hospital because of its capacity to help even more people. We've made it bigger, and so far the cost of construction has reached 4.2 billion and today is 92% complete.
Tenga fedha za shughuli hiyo. Mnakumbuka mwaka 2018 shughuli hii serikali ilitenga milioni 995.
Speaker of Parliament Job Ndugai has led Tanzanians to mark World Day for People with Disabilities, held nationally in Dodoma, with a call for construction of conducive infrastructure in government institutions for people with disabilities.
The cost is still high, making it difficult for a lot of Tanzanians on middle or low income to afford. Therefore, I've made a suggestion that tax exemption should be given. As a region, the need is still great, and we continue to insist upon ourselves and our municipal councils to increase the number.
President of Zanzibar and the chairman of the Liberation Council, Dr. Hussein Mwinyi, has said that it is not necessary for all government projects to be overseen by the Ministry of Finance, as this can cause the government to incur heavy losses. He made a statement after swearing in 5 new regional commissioners.
Ayub Mohamed Mahmoud, naapa kwamba nitatumikia kwa uaminifu Serikali ya Mapinduzi ya Zanzibar katika kazi zangu za mkuu wa mkoa wa Mjini Magharibi
wa baadhi ya wizara kuhodhi miradi. Hili nataka niliseme wazi.
Ministry of Finance must get to a place of self-actualization, that they have a mandate to look for loans and to enter into contracts on behalf of the government, but it should not see in every loan it is they who must enter into contract when it comes to implementation of projects.
Kuna kuendeleza maeneo yetu ya miji, manispaa zetu.
There is the matter concerning development of our municipal councils. If you look around in town, you will spot only 3 vehicles that collect rubbish, but other vehicles have been bought in plenty. So you ask yourself, what is the objective? What has been done to improve efficiency in municipality council?
I
will make sure that I'm not part of the problem, but rather in finding solutions to problems. Some ministries believe that some of those in charge have autonomy in supervising such projects, but we've been instructed on how to address this matter. Our key responsibility is to follow up on policies and government directives, and we shall do so. The matter regarding education, especially in Unguja South, will be given preference.
A resident from Mangaya village in Vomero district, Morogoro region, Galia Mihule, aged 58, has been killed by an elephant when returning home from income-generating activities. Speaking at the scene of the incident, some residents say that frequent elephant invasion have affected various development activities such as farming.
When we notify them, they say that they have no fuel. Are we the ones supposed to buy the fuel? This problem is among us. We must therefore take precaution, as it can happen to anyone at any time.
Hao tembo ni hatari kwa sababu wako tembo wa Safuma wamezaa watoto wachanga.
The herd of elephants is very dangerous because they have babies, and some have been injured on the way, which makes them even more dangerous.
Sasa katika hifadhi yetu ya Mikumi tunapakana na vijiji vya Doma.
To prevent this from happening again, it is the responsibility of TAWA, because it is in charge of looking after the world outside the parks.
La wanyama ambao wako nje ya hifadhi.
Tanganyika Law Society has launched books which provide legal guidance to lawyers in their legal work. Speaking at the launch of the books in Arusha, retired judge of the High Court of Tanzania, Dr. Fauz Twaib, and some lawyers commented on the importance of the books.
Kama wewe ni wakili, unataka mtu anakuambia umsaidie kuanzisha kampuni.
As a lawyer and someone consults you about starting up a company, what are you supposed to do? So I prepared a step-by-step guide on what to do.
Bunge limetunga sheria ambazo zinagusa karibu fani zote.
The House of Parliament has made laws to do with every sector, and at the end of the day, the law
kwamba ni vema basi watu wakaweza kukutana na kupeana mawazo jinsi gani wanaweza kushirikiana, wanasheria, wahasibu, wahandisi, wasanifu majengo na watu mbalimbali.
5 people, residents of Mwawile village in Misungwi district, Mwanza region, have been detained by the police force following allegations of marrying off a 14-year-old girl to a 40-year-old man for dowry of 9 cows and 100,000 shillings. The 5 are arrested, including the father of the girl.
Taarifa kamili inaweza kuipata kutokea kituo cha afya.
I was notified that a young woman and her husband had come for tests, but then there was a call that a 14-year-old girl had been married off. They had consented. I've been away from this area for 5 years. I know that when someone is 18 years of age, is allowed to start a family. It's been 2 years now since her former classmates finished school, but she dropped out at standard 1. They came with 10 cows. When there is a case of a young girl being made pregnant, or a child is raped or molested, let us not be lenient to anyone and use every power to deal with such individuals.
The U.S. Ambassador in Tanzania, Donald Wright, has said that the U.S. will continue to support the fight against infant and maternal death in the country. He made the statement in Arusha when addressing various executives of health projects funded by the American people.
Are improving the lives of Tanzania women and children. And I hope that the collaboration between USAID and this organization will continue into the future so that many more women and children can be affected.
Kwa kweli baada ya mafundisho yao tuliofundishwa nimeelimika sana.
I will be breastfeeding my baby for 6 months before I wean her.
A group of 37 tourists from Japan has arrived in the country to visit various tourism attractions, which include the Serengeti and Ngorongoro National Parks. The tourists were received at Kilimanjaro International Airport by the chairman of Tanzania Tourism Board, retired Judge Thomas Mihayo.
Na wamechagua kuja Tanzania, sababu kubwa ni kwamba
they have decided to come to Tanzania. The main reason being we did very well in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic.
Tanzania we selected this time because it's a little bit different than what we've been doing before, and you have the safari, and also your country has done a pretty good job of keeping COVID under control. So it's one of the places that we felt safe to travel to.
The tourism sector continues to thrive, and everyone will get a piece of cake that they previously.
That is the end of the national news. International comes next after the break. And in international news, the head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has warned the country faces rough times amid the deepening COVID-19 pandemic that is putting the healthcare system at risk of collapse. CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield's statement comes as the number of people admitted to hospital with COVID-19 exceed 100,000 for the first time. With 1 month to go until Uganda holds its general election in January next year, presidential candidates have continued to express their concern on the role played by the security organs during the campaigns, with popular musician and presidential candidate Bobi Wine saying threats have been made on his life. The development comes as Bobi Wine resumes his election campaigns a day after he suspended them due to violent clashes between his campaign team and security officers.
Also in the pictures as being followed by ununiformed individuals wielding guns.
And military vehicles with no registration. They are harassing us and they don't want any records to be taken.
Our lives, but they don't want any record taken.
The Ministry of Labour in Kenya has started talks with the health workers aimed at averting deterioration of health services as the country deals with coronavirus pandemic. The talks are being held as health workers threaten to go on a strike next Tuesday.
We have ordered the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, to release all the PPEs available at their stores, with the priority being the utilization by health workers. Number 2, we have engaged National Hospital Insurance Fund to offer comprehensive medical cover or medical scheme for all public servants, including the health workers working in the national government. We continue to urge all the 47 county governments to expedite the implementation of comprehensive medical cover for health workers through NHIF. And these are some of the safety issues the medical workers addressed in their demand. We have also, as government, established a multi-agency committee which to look into the grievances of the health workers. Members of the committee will include the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, who will chair the forum, the Ministry of Health, National Treasury, Public Service Commission, Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Council of Governors, State Law Office, Federation of Kenya Employers, Central Organization of Trade Union, among others. The committee will be domiciled in the Ministry of Labour.
And that is the end of international news. Business comes next after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And in business news, the Board of Directors of Tanzania Private Sector Foundation has appointed Francis Nanai as the Executive Director of the foundation, taking over from Geoffrey Simbaye, who resigned in March this year. The acting chairperson of TPSF, Angelina Ngalula, said his appointment started from 1st December this year. Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, TPSF, has said among achievements the country has made due to the partnership between TPSF and businesses from European Union member countries include promotion of business opportunities in Tanzania.
Na tunaona kwamba hawa wenzetu kushirikiana nao kutaleta faida kubwa sana kwa nchi yetu, kwa maana kwamba
there will be a lot of benefits to our country by working with our counterparts, because it is they who will advertise our country well.
The EUBG represents approximately 100 businesses operating in Tanzania with ties to Europe, both the European Union as well as the European Free Trade Area. But that doesn't make us any different from the membership of TPSF. And we are part of the Tanzania private sector as much as your members are. And therefore, it is only logical that we forge ties together and develop working relationships together and deepen our collaboration. I'm really excited about being here today with all of you. I think this is a great partnership. I think this will go a long way in strengthening the investment climate in Tanzania.
Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, in partnership with Pakistan, have opened a window of cooperation opportunities for businesses in agriculture and tourism sector.
They're very good in agriculture, processing, spare parts, and in all areas concerning agriculture.
Commission. My government had announced Engage Africa policy in November last year, and is the first event of that intensifying Pakistan's relation with all countries in Africa. We organized, hosted a business conference in Nairobi from 30th to 31st January 2020 this year. And again, I was happy to have 35-member Tanzanian business delegation which attended the conference.
Confederation of Tanzania Industries, CTI, and CRDB Bank have come up with a special program aimed at helping entrepreneurs grow by ensuring they benefit from opportunities created now that the country has attained middle-income economic status.
Ndiyo muhimili wa nchi sasa, yani kwa maana uchumi wa viwanda.
An economy based on industrialization is our axis. It is what has pushed us to middle economy.
Maana ndo tumeingia chini, kwa hiyo lazima tukue sasa.
Kwa sababu tunajua kwamba Tanzania sasa hivi
Tanzania is now moving towards an industrialized economy, so we are well prepared and have products that meet demand.
Viwanda vidogo vidogo mpaka viwanda vikubwa.
And that is the end of business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
And in sports, Young African Sports Club senior advisor Senzo Mazingisa says he sees the Jangwani club excelling in African football in the next 2 years, following their report on changes taking place in the club.
I see us as a very strong club commercially. I see us as a very well-managed club, you know, a club that is able to attain a sponsorship, a club that can generate its own revenues, and a club that can start operating as a business.
Former Zambia national team defender George Luandimina has arrived in Tanzania, ready for his appointment as Azam FC coach. Here are more details.
After the dismissal of Romania coach Aristika Sioba owing to poor results, the tactician will hold a meeting with the Chamazi-based officials before being unveiled. The 57-year-old is not new in the Tanzania Mainland League, having coached the 27-time champions Yanga Sports Club from 2016 to 2017, helping them win the league title. He then left for Zesco United of Zambia, where he served from 2018 to September 2020. The tactician was fired after an inconsistent 2019-2020 season in which the Zico finished 5th and missed out on representing the country in CAF competitions for the first time in 8 years.
Stephanie Frappart made Champions League history on Wednesday, becoming the first female to referee in a men's competition as she took charge of Juventus' 3-0 home win over Dynamo Kyiv. Here are more details.
Nico Chiesa had put the hosts ahead, heading home from Alexandro's cross before Cristiano Ronaldo scored the 750th goal of his career, tapping in Alvaro Morata's goal-bound shot for Juve's second of the night. Morata completed the scoring as Francis Frappart enjoyed a quiet debut, save for the first half Dynamo penalty shout that she waved away. Juventus faced a tall order to overtake Barcelona at the top of Group G after Ronald Koeman's side strolled to a 3-0 win over Ferencváros in Budapest. Lionel Messi was rested, but the captain was barely missed as goals from Antoine Griezmann, Martin Braithwaite and an Ousmane Dembele penalty put the game out of sight inside the first half hour.
World Athletics has opened the door for Russia's track and field stars to compete at the Olympics Games in Tokyo next year, providing the country now fulfills its promises of serious reforms. Here's the story.
Athletics Federation, Rusev, looked close to being expelled from the sport in September, but the election of a new president, Peter Ivanov, on Monday has led to cautious optimism that Russia could finally end its 5-year suspension from the sport. Rune Anderson, the chair of the World Athletics Task Force on Restoring Russia's membership, admitted there had been progress in developing a meaningful reinstatement plan to drive the cultural change required for Russia to return to full international membership of the sport by the deadline of 1st of March 2021. Rusev was initially suspended in November 2015 following allegations of state-sponsored doping and appeared close to being kicked out of the sport after its former leaders attempted to cover up an anti-doping investigation into Danil Lysenko, the 2018 World Indoor High Jump champion.
Anton Joshua would consider fighting Tyson Fury for less money next year if it is ensured an anticipated World Heavyweight Unification title bout between the two current champions could be held in Britain. Here's more to the story.
Sentence was a typically canny caveat from Joshua, which indicates that negotiations for the fight will be predictably complicated and protracted. While Joshua stressed that such significant contests should always be for the fans, he also pointed out that economic realities will decide the location. The likelihood that the fight will be staged in the Middle East rather than Britain remains.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. Thank you for watching and good night.